Okay, today's little gem on the bench is a Yaesu FT625R. Now this is something I've got a client overseas that's actually chasing one of these, and often you will find with them that there's signs that it used to have a display in it and it doesn't have any more, and many a person has stolen a display because maybe they've had a 225R that's hasn't got a display or something. They've had a couple of 625s, so they've the RDs. Anyway, the displays definitely go missing. Don't presume just because you see a spot here, turn it on, and find out that there's no display. Okay, excuse me. The good news is that my client's been able to actually find a display which is a third-party display, but as he said, it's quite a cheap solution. So as soon as I find out more about that from him, I'll definitely put that and make that available to people to understand. Excuse me, sorry, a little bit coffee today. Not as in coffee and tea, just coffee. Anyway, and just hooked this one up, and it is not working completely. When I say not working completely, it's doing most things. So what does it do? Let's have a look. Carrier. Put 30 watts out of it. 1 2 3 1 2 1 2. We can hear it. Hang on, turn that up a bit. 1 2. We can hear it, so we know we've got good stuff there. Okay. As you can see, if I go onto oh, hang on, discriminator there. Hang on, let's get the discriminator. So okay, discriminator on these things. Just a little 101 on how they work. In between the green section there, you're looking to put on the center. So if you're feeding in and you're trying to calibrate your dial here. So this would be 50.110, and it's right on at the moment. To the 50.110 signal that we've got in there. Now, if we go over to S meter, we have a look and we look at 50 microvolts, definitely working very well. And we have a look, take it down to about 0.5 a microvolt. What's missing? Audio. Got no audio, but we know the signal's there, so we know all the basics are working. I'm going to just run you through the process that you've got to go through with these things. And sometimes your fault, if you haven't picked up one of these for quite a while, sometimes your fault is far more obvious, and it was on this one than I initially. I started looking for something way too hard. It's been absolutely years since I pulled one of these out and decided I need to have a play with it, and that'd be right. My camera here, that's a customer turning up, so I'm not sure. I'm just going to see if it's a my wife should be back very soon. I'm just looking and going, is there any chance? But no, hang on, I'm going to need to go. And right, so this video takes a short break, not for you but for me. It'll seem like I'm back in a second. Okay, where did we get to? I'm back. But of course for you, I didn't go away. It's like a split second. All right, it was actually about 20 minutes with that customer just getting sorted out, and lovely dog though, lovely lady, so that's all good. Okay, so be a bit careful with some of these radios, and I'm probably going to give the plot away fairly early in the piece. Some of them have, well, let me go through first what we initially sort of did. And initially, I always want to check that the extension speaker socket, if they have a headphone socket, a lot of your wiring can go through that. And I'll quickly pull out this little board here, check a few caps on it. It's the AF board here for Yaesu, and just check a few caps. I do that for two reasons. I'm troubleshooting it to some degree, sure, but I'm actually having a bit of a look at just how everything's going, and not really thinking too serious about the fault. Let me just turn that annoying generator off. I'm not really thinking about too much about the fault. I'm just having a very overall look at it. Now, luckily, this one didn't sort of take me too long, and I'll show you why. It's was something that it can happen with the amount of radios over here in these premises, between the American barn, the museum building, 2 other sheds full of radios, another couple of containers full of radios. Yeah, sometimes you lose track of a few things, and I think we did on this one, but nothing too major. If you've already guessed what the problem is, you can put in the comments section, I would have got that early in the piece. Anyway, but I had a look at the circuit. I thought, you know what, I haven't looked at one of these for so long. Wouldn't hurt to, maybe just have a look at the circuit and just see what I'm missing here, because we've plugged a speaker in, we've plugged an extension speaker in, we've checked the original speaker, everything's good there. When we put a crow on the speaker leads here, there's stuff all getting in. There's, there was like a slight little bit of noise on the crow, but no, nothing that sort of resembled that this was going to finally see audio. But overall it's transmitting, receiving, etc., just no audio. So let me show you why. Okay, so a lot of you will look at this very fast and go, aha. And as you can see, they use a couple of transistors for the output here. The AF unit is the PB1764, and nothing really exciting there, just a couple of transistors that give you some audio output. But where you start to trace your audio, you actually start to say to yourself, hang on, what's happening to my audio? And you can see it comes in off QO3 here, comes across a couple of resistors, and then bang, off to the relay. So of course, transmit receive relay. So we'll follow the receive side of it, and bang, we go through this tone connector, and look at this. It all becomes very obvious. Pin 1 and 2. This radio, without having a DIN plug sitting in the back of it, no, you're not going to get anything. So you can see then the audio then comes down, bang, feeds the phone socket, extension speaker, and the speaker down the ground. So somewhere in the years of this radio sitting around, someone stole the 5-pin plug, probably me, not realizing to make this thing have audio, it will need a 5-pin plug in it continually to short pin 1 and 2 to give you that audio path through to the phone socket, through to the extension speaker, through to the obviously the final point generally is to the internal speaker, which is this one here. So that's this was a bit of an easy one, but it was good because it's always good to have a look at the caps and bits and just see what's going on in it. They did have a cap. Oh gee, trying to remember where it was now. There was one. Yep, I think it was that one there. Yeah, there was a couple of 220 mic caps that used to give trouble on. If you do find that you're not sort of completely stupid like me and you've just forgotten to put a plug in there, that CO8, there's a 220 mic there, keep an eye on, and there's another 220 mic from memory somewhere around this scenario. Oh, no, that's not it. Where's it hiding? I'm sure there was. Over here, another 220 capacitor 12 there. So some of those, as you can see, actually capacitor 12 is the one that used to give the trouble, and you can see why, because it runs in series with the audio output bang down at pin 2, pin 1 speaker. So there you go. So sometimes the problem is not anything to do with the internals of radio. It's something that these guys did back in the day. Now, another thing to be careful of was that back in the day, and I can't really show you on this picture because it's not going to really help me, but sometimes you found that the power in, hang on, can I roll that down? Oh, maybe, hang on. No, it's not going to show it, is it? Oh, here we go, yep. Okay, so on a lot of Yaesus, on multiple pin, now on this, no, because here, this is just a breakup of how they feed. Obviously, you can see AC coming through here, in through the transformer, and then they do a DC feed. So off pin 3, you can actually run DC 13.8 volts, bang, okay, so you just bypass this whole circuit here. Now, the thing about this whole thing is they generally have to get back down to 8 volts over here anyway. So whether you're doing it through this little regulated power supply unit here or feeding 12 volts in, a lot of it's coming down to 8 volts to run some of the digital stuff, so absolutely. All right, let's just show you a little bit more about this radio, and then we're probably cooking with gas. We have noise. Okay, so we have noise. So that's as simple as it is there, that a DIN plug will sit off the back there. Now, you might say, well, what was that for? That was for everything from tone to, there was a number of features that you could do off that connector. So you certainly, it's a nice feed out point. You could probably, I suppose, take your packet audio. You could do a lot of things back in the day. But anyway, all right, let's just see if we can pull this radio around. All right, as you can see now we're getting some audio with that signal that we're hearing, and obviously we can bring that level back down a bit, but down, etc., etc. So that's hearing a lot better. And well, the audio certainly helps, doesn't it? Just shows you though, it doesn't always have to be a severe problem. Sometimes it's something it's just the way they did things back in the day. I honestly don't like it. Anything that needs a plug left in it, you know, you'll find with Kenwoods that, you know, it wants to see its VFO plug in there when like it has a jumpered VFO plug on the 520s, 820s, etc. And they're a pain, to be honest, but that's just how they created the loop, and that's how they created them to be such a good radio. But let's have a look here. Let's 1 2 3 4 5 1 2 3 4 5 1 2 1 2 1 2. Yeah, pretty happy with that. Let's have a look. AM. Let's go to AM on this thing here. Make sure it actually AMs. 1 2 1 2 1 2 1 2 1 2 1 2 1 2. A little bit of distortion there actually. 1 2. I'll probably turn the power down on that a bit. I reckon it's trying to run it a little bit too high, and that was a very common thing back in the day. Was, you know, more power is better, and I don't know about that. Yeah, and so we'll whip that down just a little bit. Now I don't know. We probably won't be calibrated on here to hear this properly. 1 2 1 2. Yes, miles off. 1 2 1 2. Hang on. 1 2. Oh, let's see if I can get this right. If I move the 1 2 1 2 1 2 1 2 1 2 1 2 1 2 1 2 1 2 1 2 1 2 3 4 5. A little bit off frequency. 1 2 3 4 5 1 2 1 2 3 4 5. It's just me. I need to calibrate this a bit further around. Hang on. 1 2 1 2. There you go. 1 2 3 4 5 1 2 1 2. Okay. Hollow. And really, it's getting some pretty good power output actually. 1 2 on sideband. Normally, 625R. Normally about 30 watts PP, and that's what they are. And they're not a bad little radio for what they do. This chap will be really happy with this, mainly because he's got every other thing that walks and talks in Yaesu except this one. I've seen the photo, trust me. It is quite impressive. He's as obsessed with them as I am, and I still have my own personal one of these, and they're still actually sitting in boxes. I've got 225, 625 still sitting in boxes. I kept one of each for myself, as I did with just about every other Yaesu that's ever been known to man. But that's just the craziness, and a few of you have seen that area with all the box gear. Not many. That one's a bit of an interesting one. Often when we do the tours of going through the American Barn, the museum, and a lot of the other places, we don't actually get to this spot, mainly because all you're going to see is a whole stack of boxes. But my plan is to die one day, and Sam just sent them all to Lloyd's auctions. I think, you know, sort of, but they are the best of the best. Some of them are absolutely brand new. You know, they've been there for years. But anyway, all right. Well, look. Enough carrying on, enough talking about dying. I'm going to try and stay here as long as I can. I like the idea of living and trying to do a bit more, especially clean up this mess around this place. We're still not there, guys. We're way behind, but it is certainly good to see something like this. Such an easy fix. And yeah, that's just a lovely radio. They really are. This one's a very clean one too. We'll get the covers back on it, and this will be shipped in a box overseas. And let me tell you, there's a lot of countries around the world. If we ever stole radios from them, they want them back. They definitely want them back. We've seen a bit of that lately, and we've had quite a few clients who have they've basically we see it more with the CB radio gear, you know, CPI and some of the other more American brands that and they always joke about it, give us our radios back, which is fair enough. But I tell you what, it's about 30% of radios now that we're shipping out are shipping overseas, so it is certainly becoming interesting, and I mean that interesting from the point of view of getting used to what something costs to send overseas. And the more weight you get, my goodness, it goes up. It can be dramatic, and we don't put any money on top of the freight price. We just charge the client whatever the freight price is, but even we get a bit of a wake-up call sometimes, and have to go back to the client and say, look, your freight quote's just come in more than the radio, and it's still 9 times out of 10 the client will go, yeah, I expected that, and I get it. Look, we import a lot of stuff from all around the world ourselves, and I get it. It's just what it is. All right, 73s, thanks very much for having a look at this little FT625, and I suppose if you wanted me to admit, should I have thought of that little connector at the back a bit sooner? Yeah, I think so. Anyway, it's a bit of a tragedy. I had to go look at the circuit to say, oh, hang on. But something Bob VK7 RX taught me, Bob Blumfeld. And look, I just want to teach this to anybody that's playing around with radios at the moment, and that's something where we try to guess the fault sometimes, and we don't mean to as radio techs. We don't. We just get very confident, and we just think, oh, probably this or probably that. I've learned from Bob that the probablys are lovely, and you can have a very quick look at them, but in the end, get back into that circuit because the answer is there. And we spent one Christmas night. And Bob was here, staying here on Christmas night, and we were out in the shed. We'd had the dinners and the lunches and all the stuff, so we didn't just play radio, by the way. But we were out there late at night, and he said to me, "You're still doing it. You're still doing it. You're still trying to guess the fault." And he made me pick up a circuit and do it the hard way, which he obviously taught me was the easy way in the end, and it is. Sometimes we get, as I say, too confident. We think that we know it all. And sometimes we get a kick in the butt. The circuit beats us. It tells us the story better than we could know it ourselves. So yeah, that's my little bit of advice for the day. 73s, VK3 Charlie Mike, Tangambalanga, Northeast Victoria. Please subscribe and hit the like button. Definitely helping our algorithm stuff. I'm sort of, not only that, if you've got questions, certainly you know how to email me as well. And a lot of clients and certainly supporters of the channel do email me, and I'm always getting back to you as fast as I can. But feel free to. I'm always trying to check the comments file. The fastest way to get me would be Brenton at posnav.com.au through an email. That definitely, let's say I've had a few bad days and not exactly been looking at the YouTube channel so much. I'm definitely checking my emails because that's where all that business stuff is coming through, and I've got to be on that daily. So that's the easiest way to get me if you need to. If it's just a technical inquiry about something you're playing with, I might be a little bit getting back to you, but I will get back to you. I generally do. And we've got a few on the go at the moment where we've got people trying to fix their own gear, and I love that. I really do. I appreciate the fact you're giving it a go and that you're having a bit of a shot. Don't electrocute yourself. Stay away from high voltage stuff. Just stick to the 12 volt stuff. But even the 12 volt stuff, when you flip it over, just be my leads give me trouble there. Be careful, there are volts everywhere here that can kill you. This is only just a little 240 volt power supply rectified down to 12 volts, then as I was saying, taking down an 8 volt side. But yeah, don't get too confident. I'll put a bit of cardboard in these areas while I'm working on areas here. Just keep yourself isolated from 240 volts, you'll live a lot longer. 73s guys, all the best, cheers.